Welcome to Monster Territory, everybody. Brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Holy cow, what a game there tonight. A lot of offense tonight. The Red Sox absolutely exploded here tonight against the Reds here in Game 1. Terry Francona, Mike Napoli returning to Fenway Park, and they did not have a nice welcome back party. The Red Sox came a-slugging tonight. Willie Abreu, what a great game for him tonight. A couple of home runs, and he made some history along the way. A pretty wackadoodle night for Willie Abreu. And I had to dig in a little bit to try to find I'll go over the stat in a little bit, but the last player to accomplish what Willier did tonight, it took a little digging, but Ian Brown, luckily, he got it correct, and pretty cool stat for Willie Abreu. I'll go over that in just a little bit. Up and down performance for Garrett Crochet, though. This is supposed to be a pitcher's duel tonight. Garrett Crochet, established ace in the major leagues against Chase Burns, number 2 pick in the draft last year, an up-and-coming ace, a guy that's going to be a future stud. And hey, first 2 starts against historic franchises, the Yankees and the Red Sox. He did pretty good against the Yankees his last time out, but against the Red Sox tonight, he did not have a good first trip to Fenway Park. They went to town off of Chase Burns tonight. A lot of offense here tonight. Like I said, a 7-run first inning, 7 different batters had an RBI tonight. Everyone but Marcelo Meyer and Cedon Rafaela. Trevor Story adding to the mix, had a home run tonight. 5 guys in the lineup had 2 hits, 14 hits overall. Man, oh man. This is what I was talking about the other day, right? Listen, I love the outbursts. I love when you put some runs on the board. I love some dingers that come along for the ride, right? But you got to do it consistently. And, you had the big outburst the other night, right? The other day. And then you went a little cold yesterday against the Blue Jays, and you went right back to that tonight. This offense continues to show what they can do, even without Rafi Devers. And for the people keeping score, listen, I'm going to need an update on how the offense is doing with Rafi and without. I keep seeing people on Twitter saying, oh, this is the Red Sox offense with Rafi, and this is what it's been since Rafi. And it's always, it's always painting the Red Sox in this negative light. Well, I got to see the updated numbers now. Let's see what those look like when all the stats update, when all the games are finished. But curious to see how that goes. But listen, this Red Sox offense, yeah, sure. Would you love to have Rafi in the middle of it, contributing to this win tonight? Absolutely. But they showed you tonight and the other night, and a couple of games sprinkled in as well since Rafi got traded, that they can show up to the party and they can do some damage. They got to do it consistently, though. That's been a story all year for the Red Sox. That's something we've talked about how many times now. They have to do it consistently. And the fact that they've had a couple of outbursts here over the last few games, maybe that could mean something moving forward. I don't know. But I will say, great to see the Red Sox getting off on the right foot. We have seen a lot. I was actually curious about this, but we've seen a lot where the Red Sox, they dropped Game 1 of the series. And I actually did some digging into this one. Out of 27 series so far, the Red Sox have only won Game 1 12 times. They are under 500 in Game 1s of series. So, nice to see them get off on the right foot here against a Reds team that has been playing a lot better as of late. So, nice to see the Red Sox get this win tonight. They've been playing pretty poorly as of late. And let's actually check the updated standings. And let's see where the Red Sox are at as of right now. They're up to 2.5 games back in the wild card. And I believe the Rays, what did the Rays do? I mean, they're playing great as of late. Well, the A's picked up the win against the Rays tonight. And it looks like, I believe the Blue Jays did beat the Yankees tonight. So those two are holding 2 of the wild card spots as of right now. And the 3rd wild card spot is being held by the Mariners. They're playing Kansas City as we speak. We have a tie game in the bottom of the 4th in Seattle, so we'll have to wait until the end of the night to see how that goes. But the Red Sox, 2.5 games back now in the wild card, and they've actually leapfrogged a few teams here, right? You have the Rangers, the Guardians, the Twins, the Royals, like we said, they're in the mix as well. And the Angels, the only team as of right now in front of the Red Sox. So the Red Sox got to keep stringing together some wins here, ladies and gentlemen. So we do have some Alex Bregman news tonight as well, and we'll get into the Game 2 preview. We're going to be having Richard Fitz and Brady Singer on the mound tomorrow, so I'll get to that in just a little bit. You know what? Let's not waste any time here. We do have a couple of sponsors tonight. I'll get to those in a little bit, but let's get to the offense here first. Wilyer Abreu is my player of the game. Man, oh man, what a night here for Wilyer Abreu. 2 for 5, couple of homers, and a few RBIs along the way. 5 RBIs on the night. A grand slam and an inside-the-park home run for Wilyer Abreu. And let me make sure I have this correct. I want to make sure I give Ian Brown the credit here. Let me read this one. And just want to make sure I get this right. So Ian Brown, he put this earlier. Wilyer Abreu is the first since Jim Tabor on July 4th, funny enough, that's coming up this week, on July 4th, 1939, to have an inside-the-park home run and a grand slam in the same game. Now, Roberto Clemente, he had an inside-the-park grand slam, but it was the same home run, an inside-the-park grand slam. I did think, because I was looking for this, I was really digging into this, and I thought I had it. I was reading on Google failed me, ladies and gentlemen, and I thought it was Dick Northrup on June 24th, 1968. He hit a couple of grand slams in that game, and what I had read, it said it was an inside-the-park home run. Unfortunately, it was not. I got that one wrong, so apologies for that. I did tweet that out earlier. I deleted the tweet because it was not correct. So, and then I did another tweet crediting Ian Brown. So, Ian Brown, great job out there. But that's pretty insane. That's a pretty funky historical stat right there. A grand slam and an inside-the-park home run in the same game. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wilyer Abreu, man. Gotta love it. But it wasn't just Wilyer Abreu here tonight. It was a lot of other offense here tonight. A lot of other offense. And it was the big first inning. That was the key for the Red Sox. Duran getting the walk. And why am I bringing up Duran? Well, here's the thing with Jarren Duran. I was actually very happy when he got that walk. I felt very optimistic that that's how he started the game. Out of 58 leadoff, let me rephrase that. Out of 58 qualified leadoff hitters on the year, he only ranks 45th out of those 58 in walk percentage. Jarren Duran, he has got to up those walks. He has got to get on base more. So it was nice to see that he started the game on the right foot like that. But Anthony with the fielder's choice, Toro with a base hit following that up. Duran scored, made it 1-0. Narvaez with a double. Roman scored, made it 2-0. And then Trevor Story coming up big. Huge home run. Dead center field, made it 5-0 off of Chase Burns. Now, Chase Burns, electric arm. This guy was great at Wake Forest. I was very excited about Chase Burns. And when I saw the Reds drafted him second overall last year, I'm thinking, man, oh man, the Reds, they're just stocking up on this great pitching. He's going to be very good. That guy's got great stuff, but he was just leaving a lot over the plate tonight. A lot of fastballs over the plate, a lot of sliders over the plate. I mean, the Red Sox just went to town, right? You know, he's going to figure it out eventually. But for the Red Sox tonight, they took advantage of the inexperience. And Trevor Story, you cannot hang a breaking ball over the plate to Trevor Story. This guy mashes breaking balls. You can't do that. But big home run for Trevor Story. And let me actually pull up here the numbers for Story over the last month or so. Remember, Trevor Story was one of the worst players in baseball in the month of May. But in the month of June, he has really turned things around. Over the last 30 games, he has a 478 slugging, hitting 265 over that time. But over the last 7 games, he's hitting 308, has over a 900 OPS. Trevor Story, man, this is what you needed from him, right? Because especially when Rafi went down, when he got traded, sorry. You needed Trevor Story to start stepping it up a little bit more. You needed all the bats you could get. You needed everyone on deck to help out, and it's nice to see Story has been consistent here over the last month. Marcelo Meyer with a double. David Hamilton, RBI base hit. That made it 6-0. Everyone coming into the game today, because they made a couple of roster moves. Nick Sogard going down. Hamilton, people were saying, why wasn't Hamilton sent back down to AAA, right? Oh, Hamilton starting tonight? Oh, man. But, hey, ended up coming through here tonight. Then he stole second base. And then Jarren Duran, the offense was so good, they got to come up again in the first inning. Jarren Duran came up yet again, had a strikeout, but then Roman in his second AB of the inning had another base hit, hard hit ball. That got the 7th run across the board. Toro with a walk. And unfortunately, Narvaez, he couldn't come up with another hit. Oh, man, what can you do? But huge first inning for the Red Sox there. 5th inning, Wilyer Abreu inside the park home run, made it 8-4. Man, he really got into that one. Friedel made a nice play, or made a nice attempt on the play, just wasn't able to come up with it. Took a nice little bounce. And Wilyer Abreu, this is a guy where, we're not really thinking about his speed very much, but he got the right bounce. He was able to come all the way home. Wilyer Abreu. Look at that hustle. But then Trevor Story had a no-out double, and this is where, I'm nitpicking here in this game. A lot of offense, but, you got on second base, no outs. You weren't able to come through with another run there. Meyer, Hammy with a fly out, and then Seti with a ground out. But that's just nitpicking. 6th inning, Jarren Duran with a 6th home run of the year that made it 9-5. And then the 8th inning history, Wilyer Abreu with a grand slam made it 13-6. Like I said, first man since 1939, Jim Tabor, July 4th, to have a grand slam and an inside the park home run separately in the same game. I think that's a really cool stat. I love unique stats like that, But let's get to Garrett Crochet. Shall we? And, not the best night here for Garrett Crochet. He had to work here tonight. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, man, I'm thinking to myself, oh, my goodness, this guy has run support. This is great. Wow, finally, Garrett Crochet actually gets to breathe a little bit. He's got a 7-run lead, and he actually looked very good in the first couple of innings. Overall tonight, good mix of fastballs and cutters. He was getting whiffs on the sweeper. He worked him some sinkers as well, but he got off to a great start. He had 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings pitched, but in the 4th inning, he ran into some trouble. Matt McLain with a double, left a cutter right over the plate. And with Matt McLain, he's been pretty hot lately, hitting over 300 in his last 15 games with an 850 OPS. Ellie De La Cruz with a base hit. Austin Hayes has been very good this year. And Austin Hayes, he knows Fenway Park rather well with the Orioles all those years. He had the triple, a couple of RBIs. They made it 7-2. And with Crochet, this is kind of where he started running into some issues. He was just leaving stuff up, leaving fastballs up, leaving cutters over the zone. He was just getting more hittable. So it just looked like he was running into command issues the further he went. Spencer Steer with the ground out made it 7-3. Stevenson had a double. Fastball in, but, left it up just a little bit too much. He was able to get out of it. 5th inning, TJ Friedel with a bunt base hit. I told you all to look out for TJ Friedel coming into this series. This guy's been very good this year. He's a menace out there. Matt McLain coming up with another base knock. They made it 7-4. Ellie De La Cruz, double play. That's huge. When you get Ellie De La Cruz on a double play, that's massive. And the big key for that was the cutter that Garrett Crochet threw. Because on the swing, Ellie De La Cruz, this guy's swinging out of his shoes, and he literally just toppled over. He fell onto the ground. And with a guy that fast, any little bit of an advantage that you can get on him like that, that's massive. They're able to get the big double play. But also, shout out Abraham Toro. Abraham Toro had a great game defensively tonight. Man, oh man, Abraham Toro coming into the night, -1 outs above average at first base. But I think you could say tonight was his best performance. He had a couple of really good scoops throughout the night tonight. Abraham Toro, man. Gotta love it. What a pickup. I mean, he's been a really underrated pickup. He was a spring training invite. Gotta love what he's doing. But 6th inning, Garrett Crochet still trying to get through here. Gave up the home run to Austin Hayes. Like I said, he's been hitting great this year. Just left the fastball up. He just had trouble with his location tonight, had trouble with the command. But overall, for Crochet, 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 were earned, 9 strikeouts. Nice to see the strikeouts, even though he's given up some runs along the way, still racking up the Ks. But then for the bullpen, Greg Weissert had a clean 7th inning. Jordan Hicks making his Red Sox debut in the 8th inning. I tweeted this out during the game. I'm a big Jordan Hicks guy. Really like me some Jordan Hicks, man. This guy, he's I think he's gonna be pretty good. I'm not trying to jinx it, right? Knock on wood. But Jordan Hicks, I really love the velo at the end of the game. He's got some pretty nasty stuff, a sinker. He's got a slider as well. I think Jordan Hicks could be a big weapon for the Red Sox down the stretch here. Nice to see that the stuff is looking good, looking crisp as well. Had 1 strikeout in his debut. Alcala came in for the 9th. I gave up the base hit to McLean. McLean, what a great night for Matt McLean. Let me actually look here. Let me go to the box score. Man, he had himself a pretty good night here. I got to look at here. I mean, good. Hey, give shout out to the Reds, man. They were battling here tonight. They were not easy to put away. This is not loading. Here we go. Matt McLean tonight, 3 for 5 for Matt McLean. Austin Hayes was 2 for 4 tonight. So these guys, they were coming up. This Reds team, they got some good bats. This is a team that could definitely make a run for the wild card in the National League. They've been playing really well, and especially when you got Terry Francona at the helm. So, but Mark in the chat, knock on wood or potato. It's both. There's a potato in there, and there's wood surrounding it. This is not a very good head on my shoulders. My goodness. My brain does not work on me a lot. But before we get to the next part of the show, we do have to get to tonight's sponsor. And when we get back, we'll be talking about Game 2. But here's tonight's sponsor.
Hey, this episode is sponsored by Huel, so I'm going to take a sip while Todd Father tells you about Huel. And Todd Father, you asked me, when should I drink it?
Yeah,
what did I tell you?
Really, it's the best thing for you. Before a workout, after a workout, whatever you're feeling. Like sometimes I'll just drink this just because it tastes that good. The flavor is very good. It's going to make you feel, it's going to fill you up too. Good protein, and it's very appetizing. So for you people out there who are starting to work out or have been, drink this. You're going to feel very much energized and very much full, which is a great thing.
Yeah, people that are having problems, not having enough time to eat their meals, Huel for you. Or a little post-workout protein punch, Huel for you. Start saving time and money without compromising your nutrition today with the FT offer for new customers. 15% off using the code FAL at Huel.com. 15% for new customers using FOUL at Huel.com. See our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition.
Alrighty, Game 2 tomorrow. We got Brady Singer against Richard Fitz. Now remember, the Reds, they made the offseason trade with the Royals with Jonathan India and Brady Singer. Jonathan India hasn't really been doing all that great for the Royals. We'll see how that trade ends up turning out. But Brady Singer so far in the year, he's been pretty solid at the back end of the rotation for the Reds. ERA at 4.31, FIP at 4.23. He's made all of his starts. He's giving you some pretty decent innings overall. But, I mean, this is really a back end of the rotation arm that you're going up against. He's going to get a lot of ground balls. He throws the sinker. He's going to work in the slider as well. I mean, mostly a two-pitch kind of a guy at this point. He's not going to get a lot of strikeouts. Actually, funny enough, I take back what I just said. He does throw a lot of sinkers. He has been a big ground ball guy in the past, but this year he has really reduced the ground balls, down from 47% last year, has a career average of 47.5%, down to 35% this year. So apologies, a little mistake on that stat. But, well, he's going to get a lot of fly balls, a lot of line outs as well. Maybe that could be a good sign for this hot-hitting Red Sox team. They could take advantage there. But he's not going to get a lot of strikeouts. 8 strikeouts per 9. That's decent, but it's not really Garrett Crochet level over here. The command, that has been a little off for him this year. Not bad overall. 3.7 walks per 9, but that is up from his career average. But he is keeping the ball in the yard, and at Great American Park in Cincinnati, that is a hitter-friendly park, so he has been doing a good job with that. But let's see if the Red Sox can get to Brady Singer. Well, as you can see, he's got pretty good extension, but not really a whole lot else. I mean, he's going to be pretty middle of the road, a little little lower than middle of the road when it comes to the strikeouts. He's in the 41st percentile. He's getting 35th percentile when it comes to the whiff rate. Point blank, there's going to be a lot of contact off of Brady Singer. So taking a look at where he usually locates these. I mean, look at this. I mean, there's a lot of meatballs going across the plate here with the sinker. Dead red in the middle of the zone. The Red Sox absolutely need to go to town on Brady Singer. Now, the slider, he does work this down and in on the righties and down and away on the lefties. Cutters, he tends to leave them up a lot. He does go up in the zone with the velo on the four-seamer 11% of the time. But really, you're just going to see a lot of sinkers and sliders. The way this Red Sox offense has been here over the last few games, I mean, let me do math in my head. I'm not very good with math in my head. You had, 15? And then you had 3, and then 13. Well, you scored over 30 runs in the last few games. So let's see if they can keep the hot bats going here against Singer. I feel like this is a really good matchup for the Red Sox. Not going to jinx it, though. But Richard Fitz is on the mound for the Red Sox. And I've been saying here for Richard Fitz as of late, the key for him is to just keep building. Remember, he missed a lot of time. He came back against Milwaukee, threw a few innings. He was okay. And then against the Angels, they teed off on him. And then he went back down to the minor leagues, came back again against the Angels. He fared a lot better, 6 Ks, 4 innings his last time out, but the Red Sox ended up losing that one. But with Richard Fitz, you did see a couple of good things in that start against the Angels. The velo was looking good. He was getting a lot of whiffs on the fastball, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign for the health of the shoulder. Remember, he strained the pectoral, but that all connects with the shoulder, so everything's looking fine and dandy health-wise for Richard Fitz. I think it's more of just getting that feel, and he's got a very good chase rate so far in the year, 93rd percentile on the chase rate. He's been pretty solid with the command, 65th percentile with the walk percentage. You're going to get a good mix of sliders as well. Now, going back to that last game against the Angels, 45% of the fastballs, 31% on the sliders. Now, I'd like for him to get a few more whiffs on the slider and the sweeper as well. He mixed some of those in as well. He had 5 combined whiffs on those 2 pitches. So it would be nice if he can really get all of these pitches working here, and maybe that can help him go a little deeper into the game. But with Fitz, I mean, really, it's just at this point, just building, right? Building back to what you were doing there in that first month of the year. Velo's looking good. Let's start getting a few more swing and misses on the breaking stuff. And I'm feeling pretty good about this one here tomorrow. Taking a look at some of the experience when it comes to the matchups. Well, Wilyer Abreu, this guy's swinging a hot stick as of late. He's got 4 ABs and 2 hits against Brady Singer in his career. Jarren Duran, he's seen him 8 times. Hamilton's got a couple of hits against him. Taking a look here. No home runs against Singer. So let's see if maybe we can get a first home run here off of Singer. But the Reds, they have not seen, none of these guys have seen Richard Fitz. So I am leaning, not trying to be biased here, but I am leaning a bit more to my Red Sox here, to our Red Sox here tomorrow. So let's see how it goes. But we do have some Alex Bregman news to get to. We do have one more sponsor, though. I'll be right back.
All right, Harry's is going to get an award here, MVP in the shaving world. And AJ, if you want to equate it to things that we talk about, it's not expensive. And it's super versatile, right? The company itself, because there's other products that you can get on the site, deodorant, body wash, etc. But for your everyday shaving needs, Harry's has you covered. And you look at the pricing, you look at the quality, and you're like, wait, why was I using the old classic brand for a long time?
Listen, as somebody right now that needs a Harry's, I've just been lazy. Harry's, I have plenty of them lined up, ready to use. You can use them for more than one shave, which is huge for me. And the pricing is right. I got to go get my Harry's because my neck beard is sick. But Harry's will fix that. It'll line me up straight. It'll no bumps, no cuts. It's exactly what I need for a great price.
That's right. Get the edge on your shave with Harry's. Normally their trial set is $10, but right now you can get it for just $6 at harrys.com/foul. That's our exclusive link, harrys.com/foul, for a $6 trial set.
All righty. let's get to the Bregman news. But if you are watching on Nesson, we are just about out of time. So if you want to catch the end of the show and see the Bregman news, then come on over to Monster Territory over on YouTube. But again, we are out of time on Nesson. But come check out the rest of the show on YouTube. Nesson viewers, we'll see you tomorrow. But let's get to Alex Bregman. We got a bit of a scoopy scoop from Chris Cotillo. And we actually got some of this the other day. Remember, Scott Boras, good old Scott Boras. He was just lingering around in Anaheim. This guy it looked like he was up to no good. He was standing right behind Roman Anthony in the suite or wherever the heck he was. And I'm pretty sure this guy was looking at Roman thinking, man, I want that guy to be my client. I want to get some good money with Roman Anthony down the road. But funny enough, we ended up getting a report in that game where Scott Boras was seen on camera standing behind Roman Anthony that it looks like that they could be open to an extension. Well, that was coming from Scott Boras, but now we're actually hearing something from Alex Bregman. And Chris Cotillo here has the story. Said, we're open to listening to anything that they have to say. Goes on to say, at 31 years old, Bregman isn't shy about his desire to sign a deal in a place he can call home for the rest of his career. That's definitely a very high priority. He goes on to say, I expected to love playing here, and I've definitely loved playing here. It's a great place to play baseball. Being able to play for this organization is awesome. My expectations were all very positive, and it's definitely lived up to those positive expectations. I mean, listen, I've been saying this ever since the Red Sox signed Bregman. You need to sign this guy long term. And when they did the deal, had the opt-out after this year as the opt-out sprinkled throughout, but it was a 3-year deal. I mean, you knew he's not going to be here for the 3 years. But then he got hurt, and then he's missed a little bit of time. And I'll actually get to one more thing about Alex Bregman here in just a little bit. But with that deal, right, obviously, you knew he was probably going to just opt out of it and then, either go back into free agency or maybe get a new deal done with the Red Sox, right? We all know that this is a perfect fit. He knows that this is a perfect fit. He hits so well at Fenway Park. It just makes too much sense, right? And especially now that the Red Sox have traded away Rafi Devers, right? Now you got some money to work with. And to me, that money should be going to Alex Bregman here. That should be your long-term guy. To me, I think he's the new face of the franchise. I really do. I think this is the guy where I've been saying this as well, and I'm going to reiterate it. I think the Red Sox look at Bregman and the way he's been since coming to the Red Sox. This guy's looked like a leader, right? He's been talking with the young guys. Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell. He's been spending a lot of time with them. Go back to spring training. He went on the bus, right, to go with them to an away game that he wasn't originally scheduled to be a part of. That to me, that's a leader. That's the guy that, you want to have as your face of the franchise, right? He's integrated himself with the city of Boston well. He's a hard player. He said right from the get-go in spring training, hey, I'm here to do whatever the team needs me to do. Second base, third base. I mean, heck, even, I think even on Section 10, I think they even said, hey, you want to play some catcher, right? I mean, Alex Bregman is one of those guys, man, he'll do anything. He will absolutely help out the team in any capacity. And I'm going to be honest, if I were to, get a feel, I'm guessing here, but I think the Red Sox organization, ownership, the front office, the coaching staff, the other players, I think they notice this, right? The guy's always talking baseball. He's always talking hitting, right? Go back to the offseason. Lou Merlone, all these guys, they were saying the Red Sox need someone that's just going to talk baseball all the time, right? That's just going to talk strategy, talk mechanics, right? You had that kind of a guy with JD Martinez, right? The Red Sox needed a veteran guy like that. And, with Rafi, that's whatever. That's in the past now. That's a whole different conversation. I've already talked ad nauseum about that. But to me, Bregman should be the face of the franchise moving forward. I absolutely think the Red Sox need to get an extension done. It makes too much sense. If they don't get it done, I think they're fools. But I think the fact that he's saying this, that he's open to an extension, and he's talked about how he loves playing here, and we've seen another Scott Boras client in the past, just recently, Matt Chapman, do an extension with the San Francisco Giants after signing an opt-out deal, right? It's happened, right? And also, one more thing to add on top of that is with Bregman, I just think as well, you got to look at it from his perspective. He just said he's enjoyed it here so far, right? He loves baseball. That's his passion, obviously. And Boston's a baseball town. I mean, he's talked about this, on Section 10, and he's talked about it wherever he's, been asked about it. He loves the city of Boston, especially when it comes to playing baseball, right? Because we all live and die for the Red Sox over here, and he loves that. To me, I think it's a perfect fit all the way around. I think it makes too much sense. I think they need to get this done. Absolutely. And we also got a bit of news today. We also got some new. Actually, let me make sure I give the right credit here. Because I always want to give the right credit. It was who was it? One second here. Rob Bradford. Or Alex Cora was talking about it, but Rob Bradford, he tweeted out. Alex Cora said, the way he's talking about it, he's close to 100%. And then Rob Bradford put right after that, Bregman says there's a chance he returns before the All-Star break. Very encouraged by it today. So he's been ramping up the running. He's been doing some work in the field. I told you all this. I was saying, when the injury first happened, listen, I may have a potato for a brain, and I got the woods surrounding it over here, but I know a thing or two about some injuries. I've had a lot of injuries over the years. I've competed in powerlifting. It's not the same thing as baseball, but still, I've been a part of the rehab game. I've gotten surgery on my hip. I've hurt my lower back a million times up to this point. I got a good feel for injuries. And when I saw when that first injury happened, I thought, okay, that looks like something happened, but it doesn't look horrible. It looks like something, but not horrible. And I figured at the time, maybe like a month. It's been a little over a month. I think about 5-6 weeks at this point. But then when we started ramping up the rehab, I'm thinking to myself, this guy's already looking pretty good here. Obviously, you want to be careful ramping it up, but just was getting better and better every single day. He's feeling good. And I'm thinking to myself, and I talked about this over the last week or so, maybe he can get in, a couple of games before the All-Star break, get a couple of ABs, build a little bit of momentum going into the break. Then you got a few days off. And that way, you're not coming just back from the All-Star break completely cold. All right. So that could be a realistic possibility. But I think from the Red Sox point of view, they got one of the best medical staffs in all of baseball, if not the best. So I think they're going to be very careful with this one. I think they're going to go over every single test possible. They're going to make sure this is good to go because you need Bregman for the second half. Like, you need him post All-Star break. Like, you cannot afford this guy to go down again. And especially with what we're seeing with the offense right now. And if you get him back, and then Yoshida comes back, and, sure, he's not going to be Rafi, but give you a competitive AB, do a few things here and there. All of a sudden, this lineup could be looking pretty decent. Maybe add another bat at the trade deadline. And then, who knows? You might be looking at something pretty good post-All-Star break. So, but I see a couple of you in the chat. Joe, 160. I think you're going to be looking more than 4 years. I think it would at least be 5. So I'm going to say probably anywhere. I'm going to go a range here. Because you got to remember, he's now had 2 quad injuries, and now he's had an injury after he's north of 30 now, right? So you got to consider his projections moving forward. Yes, people are going to say, oh, he's getting paid $40 million a year now. Well, that was from last offseason. This is a whole new ball game at this point, especially when you mix in an injury. And then you got to look, the Red Sox, we all know they're very analytical, right? They're going to be looking at these projections moving forward. So I'm imagining you're going to at least see something at least $30 million per year. So I'm going to say it's going to be anywhere from 5 years, 150 to 6, 180. Like, I'm going to say it's going to be in that range. That's kind of where I'm at. Maybe even a little, like 6, 175. That's kind of where I'm at. I understand. Yes, he's getting paid $40 million a year right now, but that's 3 years. 3 years. Well, when you stretch it out, well, now the AAV is going to come down. So I do think he'll get at least $30 million a year if it's 5. But I could also see it maybe being like 28 per year if it goes 6, maybe even 7. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think a sweet spot, I would just say get it done for like 6, 180. It 6, 170 to 180. I think something in that range makes sense. Maybe a little bit more than that. But the Red Sox, they have the money to work with now. They need a face of the franchise. Rafi was your face of the franchise. Bregman needs to be your new face of the franchise. We will see what ends up happening here. But everybody, I am going to wrap it up for the night. Do want to say thank you for coming out here tonight. Great game for the Red Sox here. You love to see it. This is what we want to see from the offense. No, do we need to see 13, 15 runs every single game? No, we don't. But you just want to see the offense be a bit more consistent. Hopefully they have now turned this corner, this dreadful run that they were on, right? This dreadful stretch that they were on. Hopefully that's in the rearview mirror now. And it looks like it is. Looks like it is. We will see. Game 2 tomorrow. I'll be back here tomorrow night, everybody. Go enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your day tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow night.